Crystal from Beautifully Broken Crafts, Hauls, and More, and we have some Kirkland dupes for you today. So the first one I have is this 11 by 14 flatboard canvas I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm just using my pumpkin Waverly chalk paint to cover that whole canvas, and then I use some of the antique wax by Waverly to blend in to give it some depth. I did print out a phrase on my Cricut with some heat transfer vinyl that you will see me ironing on shortly, and I also used two 5-gallon paint stir sticks that I had from Walmart that I cut down with my miter saw I have, and then I used some of that antique wax with a baby wipe to give it a faux stain, and we're making this look like a scroll. So here I am using my heat press from Cricut to put on that phrase that says be kind, be thoughtful, be genuine, but most of all be thankful, in black and white heat transfer vinyl. And I hot glue my paint sticks to the top and bottom so it looks like the scroll, and I'm going to use some wired jute from the Dollar Tree as well on the back of this so it has a hanger, and I just used my hot glue gun for all that. I will say this is my first time using heat transfer vinyl on canvas, and I was impressed. So there's Kirkland's for $49.99. And here's mine for about $3. On to DIY number 2. We're going to take 3 of the 8x10 canvases that I found at the Dollar Tree in black. I have yet to find these again. I removed all the staples from the back with a mini flathead screwdriver and needle nose pliers, excuse me. And I set those canvases aside, and I end up sanding down the frames a little bit because they did have some splinters, and I use a baby wipe and a paintbrush to give it a faux stain on those frames. And then we're going to reattach that black canvas to those frames once that wax is dry. And this is going to be like a 3-piece set. So one will say autumn skies, one will say pumpkin pies, and one will say family ties. And I do use permanent vinyl from Cricut on this one, and it's like a really light gray, almost white color vinyl. I will say I prefer using heat transfer vinyl on canvas over the regular permanent vinyl, because the permanent vinyl didn't want to stick right away. I had to mess with it a little bit, and sometimes you have to Mod Podge over regular vinyl when it's on canvas to get it to stay. So here I am gluing the frame to the top of the canvas because we're making these reverse canvases, and there I am sticking the phrase autumn skies on here with my Arteza transfer tape. And then once I get all that taken care of, I will trim the sides of all the canvas, top and bottom too, with my box cutter just to shape it up. And I didn't film it, but at the end, when I'm done with all 3 of these, I do add some staples with my staple gun to the back to make sure these are extra taut. And I also put in some sawtooth hangers in the back. So their trio cost $119.99. Granted, they are larger than mine, but still. And here's mine for $3. On the DIY number 3, I did another 8x10 canvas. This one was in white, and I took it off of the frame, painted the frame with the Waverly chalk paint and ink. After I sanded down the splinters, I took 2 little white pumpkins I had from the Dollar Tree and painted them orange, and there I am. I used the back of the canvas because I like the cream color better than the stark white, and I had printed out with the heat transfer vinyl pumpkin spice junkie. And then I did trace the inside of my frame before I did that, so I knew where the words could go, so I traced it onto the canvas. Anyhow, hot glue and staple gun the canvas back to the frame, and then I'm going to cut off the excess canvas like I did with the black ones, and add a sawtooth hanger in the back of this as well. But I took those 2 pumpkins I had painted in orange, and I cut them in half because we're going to give this like a 3D effect. And then I'm going to hot glue them directly to that canvas going upwards. You guys will see. And then I use a sticker from the Dollar Tree that I had that is like a little coffee, like a to-go travel cup like you would get at like Starbucks or whatever, with a sleeve on it. And I did put one of the stems back on the top of those pumpkins. And there's theirs for $49.99. And here's mine for about $3. And last but not least, I did lose some of the footage. So I did accidentally lose the footage of me painting this 8x10 white canvas. So what I did was I just used some yellow apple barrel paint that I had and some Waverly pumpkin chalk paint. And I made a horizontal oval and a vertical oval. And then with that Dollar Tree permanent vinyl, I had cut out on my Cricut a tall pumpkin which looks more like a gourd and placed it over the yellow oval. And then I had cut out a pumpkin and placed that over the horizontal oval, which was a pain in the butt. I will say the Dollar Tree vinyl isn't horrible. It is thin though, and it does not like those thin little cuts. It did not want to come off the transfer tape. So that did take me a while to get on there, and I used all the tricks I knew how. I didn't have to add anything to the back of this. So there's Kirkland's $13.99, and here's mine for $2. So you guys let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. I love you guys. Please make sure to comment and subscribe.